Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Unscripted. This is Holly. Just thought I would turn my camera on with no real plan other than for you to see something that I do when I'm overwhelmed, which happens in life, right? Adulting, or not even overwhelmed, or I don't know if it's stress, anxiety. I feel like those words are a little bit strong, but just feeling like I just need to escape for a little while in my brain, or turn it off in a way. And so this is something that I picked up a couple years ago. I really got into sewing. I mentioned that on a video, one of my videos early on. That I kind of went through when I went through menopause and just hormones and weight gain and just life and the world and just everything compounded all at the same time. And so my husband had gotten me a sewing machine at Christmas because I had mentioned offhandedly, my dogs are making noises back here, so I apologize if you can hear it. I had mentioned offhandedly we were walking in Walmart or something, like, what do you want for Christmas? And we happened to go by the craft aisle and there's a sewing machine that said, secretly I have always wanted to learn how to quilt. And he kind of looked at me. I said, oh my gosh. I said, if you give me a sewing machine, do not spend a fortune. Like, make sure it's like the base model entry, cheapest machine you can buy, because you'll get it, buy it, and it'll sit there and get dusty because I don't even know what to do with it. And I wouldn't want you to spend a lot of money. So he ended up giving me one. And at that time, we had our first grandchild on the way, due in a couple months right after Christmas. And so YouTube is wonderful, right? YouTube and tutorials. I just sat and taught myself how to, I bought a little like charm pack and how to put together a small little quilt, and did a lot of things wrong, and it probably fell apart first time she watched it. In retrospect, I didn't know what I was doing. But that just started. Then I started making, other little crafty things, watching more videos, how to put a zipper in, how to make a zipper pouch, how to make a bowl koozie. I really still love bowl koozies. Those are like fun to make and one of those most useful things that you don't realize you need until you have one. So I started making those things, and I made a few more quilts and just, they're different stuff. So I kind of got really obsessed into it for a while, and would do it in between, my work and job, and I still have a teenager at home and running around, so there's still limited time, but I really spent all my free time for a while there obsessively sewing, and got more machines, and then I kind of stopped this year. Got a puppy. She took a lot of my time. Work got really crazy busy. Just life sped up for whatever reason. And then everything kind of sat about all this stuff. And then I just sat. Then my room, which is where I'm at, my craft room, which used to be my home office. And then I turned it into slowly. It got overwhelmed by craft sewing everything in here in a very small, like 10 by 11 space. And then everything accumulated in here. I'd order stuff, shove boxes in here, would buy, Joann's was going out of business, so I would still buy stuff, some people would have some fabric scraps, whatever, stash, little pieces of this, and knew I was into sewing, so then they give it to you. I don't know, this room became like a tornado went through it. It was just, and then it was like every time I wanted to sew, over this past year, I'd come in here and I was just overwhelmed, which the whole reason why I liked sewing is it's a way to just sort of, when I'm overwhelmed, to go sit down and just not think, just do. Which my saying is, and I think I'm going to start the series as, stop thinking, just sew. Because that's honestly what I told myself. I spent a weekend cleaning up my sewing room. You can't tell now because then I started sewing again, and so it's a little disaster. But the guts of it, which is, fabric and things, got really organized, which one day I'll show you what I did. Some things I bought from Amazon that I thought were super cool and cheap. I like spending a whole lot of money. But anyways, I just decided, so I've started sewing. I made like a bowl koozie. I used some little stash that I had. I had done the Fat Quarter Shop subscription for about a year. And so I was going through those boxes, like literally we'd get the box and they were just piling up. I hadn't even gone through the boxes, had fabric in there. And I've just been slowly doing little miscellaneous projects and using up then things, what I had left over. And so anyways, today I was just had a wonderful day with my granddaughters, and then just came home and I was like, I don't want to clean. I don't want to sit and watch TV. I want to stop thinking and sew. And that's what I'm going to call these series. Stop thinking and sew. I am not here to teach you anything because I need to be taught. I don't know what I'm doing. But I think when I find the most enjoyment is when I'm not overwhelmed with pressure of like I've done some patterns and I've enjoyed them the least amount, because when things don't go right, it just frustrates me. It almost gives me the anxiety. What I end up having more fun in here sometimes is when I'm just playing with scraps, just sewing, just doing that. I mean, but sometimes you still have to have an idea what you're making, right, and doing. And so it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But anyways, I started cutting fabric up the other day. Again, it was that quarter shop. I was going through one of them, and it was probably last August, September, October last year or the year before. So it was definitely like a jelly roll was in there, and it was fall fabric colors. And I was like, I'm not mentally ready to make like a quilt right now. I'm not ready for big things. So I was like, I've never done a table runner. A fall table runner would be cute on my kitchen table with those fabrics. And so that particular box did have like, a free download for a table runner. Or maybe it was a different box I was looking at. I was looking at so many when I was organizing. So anyways, I ended up just downloading that pattern. It was free. It was for a table runner. I thought it would be cute to use this fabric with it. Of course, I'm a little stressed because it's a pattern and I've already screwed up when I was sewing. It is what it is. I can fix it. I just have to redo things. But anyways, so I just thought I would turn this on. Let you just chill with me for a few minutes. Maybe I'll talk while I'm sewing. Or you can watch me sew for a few minutes and I'll turn it off. I just want you out there in YouTube world, if you're anything like me and you're in your 50s and you need a hobby, and if you haven't thought about it, sewing's pretty awesome. You can just get an $80 basic sewing machine at Walmart and you can start with that. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, and some cheap old fabric you can order from Amazon. You can get fabric from Walmart. You can, you don't have to spend a fortune. You don't. And you can just YouTube some videos and start sewing. And it feels kind of good to know you made something. And for me, whether it's just, I didn't know I would end up enjoying playing with fabric so much. That was an unexpected turn of events when it came to it. But anyways, enough talking. Stop thinking. Stop talking. Start sewing. Here we go. So you can see I have some, I don't know if you can see that, but I've got some pieces here that I'm going to sew. I've already made my diagonal line with a pencil. I'm still sometimes not as good. I hate these, kind of like the snowball that you call it. Sometimes I'm not always good at those. So I went ahead and drew my line on, but I don't know if you'll be able to see. So I'm going to turn around. And I'm just sewing these scraps that I had cut off from the ones that I made earlier. Let me see if I need to move if I move that. We'll see if my head's blocking this. If it is, I'm sorry. And my dogs are making all sorts of noises, guys. It's like I want to have a conversation with all of you out there, or anybody who bothers to watch this. But I forget, it's not like I can ask questions, but you can't answer me back. So, I mean, I guess you can in the comments, right? But this isn't live, so I'm going to ask anyways. What do you do when you need to turn the brain off? I used to be a reader, pretty avid reader. I kind of got out of that for a while. I felt like I got burnt out because I was reading so much for periods of time. And of course, I've done the binge watching of different shows, which I still like. Don't get me wrong. I started binging something the other day. It was The Diplomat. Can you guys see? I wonder if you can see this. I wonder if I can. Let me see if I can get this closer. hopefully you can see. We'll see when I watch this back. May end up not even posting it because it ends up being bad quality, which happens a lot. I try to film things, get something uploaded, and then I get frustrated because I don't think it turned out very well. So just delete it all and then never redo anything and never upload anything. But anyways, I started watching, well, I'd already watched. It's the 3rd season of The Diplomat that's out right now on Netflix. I had watched the first 2 seasons, and so I started binging the 3rd season. And I finally was realizing, okay, I'm getting really lazy right now. I need to turn this off. No more episodes. And then I got back in the sewing room. Thought, you know, kind of need to get the table runner done before, you know, fall's over. It is fall colors. And maybe I was thinking it would be cute because I'm going to have plenty of Jelly Roll fabric left over. Maybe I'll make some placemats to go with it. Not ever made like quilted placemats. I've never made anything like that. So I thought that would be cute to do. All right. These are done. I'm going to cut these off, and then I'm going to trim the corners. And I'm probably going to stop my camera in a minute here so I don't keep filming something that you can't even see what I'm doing. So I like to take, these are like, I have a pile over here. Let's see if you can see. I'll move them over here if you can see. So those are from the ones I've made before that I've already cut the corners off, because if anybody's watching this knows, but if you've been sewing, my way. I've got stuff everywhere. I'll just move this up here. So take your little ruler, and you've got a little line, and so what we're going to do is cut the corner off. So I like this ruler. I think this came in a fat quarter box as well. One of those subscription boxes. They're really great if you're new to sewing and you need to like build up your stash and build up some notions and stuff. It was a great little box. I just wasn't using the stuff as quickly. I mean, like, I've decided I'm not going to buy anything else. I need to just sew with stuff I have. All the different stash and scraps, right? That's what I need to do. But anyways, this is a 1/4 inch plus in Riley Blake Designs, but I do love this little ruler, if you can tell. So that's 1/4 inch is the darker part here, and then I just sort of line it up on that line that I just sewed diagonally, and get your rotary color cutter out, and then cut her off, which I don't normally do. I don't really want to do it up here on my. I need to change the blade. Anyways, you get the little pieces of triangle, and then I've been sewing those together kind of like as a leader before I'm chain piecing whatever I'm doing. And I press it. When I go take all the stuff to press, I'll press these open and trim these down. These are trimming these about to 1.5 inches. Will I ever use them? I don't know. That's the problem with scraps. I felt good when I came in here and cleaned up my stuff and organized everything, because I really organized through a lot of the scraps, and I cut scraps down into block sizes, and then I have what I call kind of like my miscellaneous cuts or crumbs, and I organize those by color. Like, I feel best organized I've ever been in here. But boy, it's amazing how quick you accumulate stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna stop at this point and turn you off. My husband's about to be home with some food for us to eat for dinner. Anyways, that's that. I just wanted to kind of jump on here and tell you, stop thinking and sew. I hope you guys have a great evening, and until next time.